Hey, what's going on? Keith here from Sports Vibes TV, and I'm here with another Knicks Syndicate pregame show. As always, I'm joined by my guy Stephen Fox and George from Into the Knicks first. So, George, want to say salute to you first. How's everything?
Very good, very good. Thank you for having me, Keith. Salute to everyone who's going to join us. I think, wait, is anyone even joining us right now? Yes, someone's coming.
Please, we don't ask a lot. Please.
Yeah.
Godly Gamer said we here.
Good here. All right. Awesome, man. Good to be here, man. Good to be here.
Thank you guys in chat for making yourselves known. White Falcon, big task. So, Foxy, how's everything with you, man? You good?
All is good. Hope all is well with you and George. Shout out to the chat, the SV Nation, and into the Knicksverse family.
All right, so we got a few things to talk about. Got a jam-packed show to discuss all things Knicks, and we're gonna start with a recent signing, point guard Ryan Arcidiacono.
Ding,
Guys,
ding, ding,
check me.
ding, ding.
Did I do
Ladies
it?
and gentlemen, please
All right,
send
we
the
have a
super
winner.
chats where
Where's
you
my
got the
cookie?
name.
Foxy, want to thank you for working through that with me before we got onto the show, so I didn't make a fool of myself. George, you
A
too as
one,
well.
a two, a three.
Right? Man, we had to practice that before we went live. I couldn't get tripped up. So let's talk about our guy, Ryan A. I already said it once. I'm not going to say it again. So how do you guys feel about that signing? He's a point guard, previously played with the Chicago Bulls. He's tough-nosed, some guy that can set his teammates up, play solid defense, and a player that should fit with a Tom Thibodeau coached team. So, George, I'll start with you. How do you feel about this signing?
I actually don't know much about him because I really haven't seen him play much. But from what I read about him, from his stats, he could be we need another ball handler, so he could provide some of that for us at the moment because we don't know what's going to happen with Kemba, and with COVID the way it is, who knows who the next wave of people are going to get it and be out for. Now at least guys are out for a shorter window span. But a shorter time. Days. Yeah, because the CDC reduced the quarantine period from 10 to 6 and then down to 5. Yeah, they dropped it to 6, and then for some reason they just switched it to 5 not that long ago. So I actually don't know much about it, much about him in general. I think it's an interesting timing. I'm wondering what that reveals, why they chose now as opposed to like a week ago, but I'm actually looking to you guys to find out more about him.
I find it funny how we couldn't get our paperwork in order, and the signing actually got vetoed. So we think he'll be on the team, but officially he won't be joining us for another. What is it? The 5th, I think, or the 5th or the 6th is when they say we can officially.
Is that it?
They made a procedural mistake.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you can't. You can't.
I think they got
two guys. Say it again.
I think they got set up because they had guys returning from COVID at the same time. They were trying to get the paperwork processed, and you know how things go. They probably use U.S. mail.
Yeah, no doubt.
So, Foxy, how do you feel about our guy Ryan A?
I love guys who go to Villanova. He's Villanova tough. Shoots 37% from 3. As I said to you off the air, I look at him like a poor man's TJ McConnell. Tough. What's his nickname, Keys?
Arc of Dimes.
Exactly. So anyone that's has to do with dimes on this team, I'll embrace. So the Arch of Dimes. So if he can bring smarts, and I don't know if he'll play much, but I think he'll be in practice with Kemba's knee. I guess he'll be the guard version of Wayne Selden.
Yeah, I think we're bringing him in. It'll be interesting to see if it'll affect some of the young guys on this roster, because to bring him in, it kind of signals that maybe Tibbs isn't extremely confident with Deuce, especially seeing the way that he pulled him last time the guys were out there on the court. So, Foxy, you think this could be signaling some trouble for Deuce, maybe with terms of losing some minutes or losing a spot in the rotation?
I wouldn't worry about it, because he's worried about it, then we have a problem with Deuce. If you're the type of ball player, especially in Madison Square Garden in New York, bring it on. Bring on a lot. You have to love your game and love competition. And this is pro sports. Every draft, every year, there's somebody coming in after your job. So you better have that mentality in your head that, I got to work on my game, and I can't look, as Satchel Paige said, I can't look back, man. I got to just look ahead. And if, Ryan A can do something, then, power to him. And, there's issues with the other guys for letting a guy creep up on him.
I hear you on that. So, Foxy, you're saying moving ahead, powering ahead, and it looks like the Knicks are going to be able to power ahead with a more healthy roster, or with a healthier roster. As we can see, New York Knicks PR has announced that a few Knicks have cleared protocol, those being Nerlens Noel, Julius Randle, Mitchell Robinson, and Jericho Sims. And right before we came on, they did say that Julius Randle would be playing tonight. So before we get into the guys returning, let's talk a little bit about what we saw from our young guys. Do you think any of them showed enough to warrant a larger role on the team, whether that be Quick, Grimes, Obi, RJ?
You want me to go, or?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, we'll start with George.
Start with George.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's cool. George.
Of the jungle, strong as he can be.
I was trying to look up Ryan A's info here. So what was the question again, Keith?
With the guys returning, we've got Nerlens Noel,
Yeah.
we've got Mitchell Robinson, Jericho Sims, and Julius Randle coming back on board, clearing protocols. Well, not really Nerlens Noel; he's still injured or out. But with those guys coming back, did you see anything from some of our younger guys that would warrant them to get a larger role on this team, whether that be Obi and RJ, or players that already have smaller roles on the bench, which is Quick and Deuce?
Well, I don't think other than Randle directly affecting Obi, I don't think anyone else really gets affected as much. Especially since Randle's not a guard. But I think Mitch and Sims being available, that's gonna really help a lot. That was an odd game to watch the other night with just Taj. And Obi played 45 minutes. That was a good thing about it. And he responded to a certain degree. He responded really well. But I think, it's unfortunate. Obi's just stuck in that situation. Maybe he'll see some small ball additional minutes, when Julius is on the court. But other than that, it's basically when Julius is on the court, Obi's out he's not going to get floor time. So in that respect, he gets impacted the most. I think Grimes is here. Grimes is in this rotation now, and he's earned it. On both sides of the court, he's earned it. So I think he's a fixture now. Whether some nights he only plays 8 minutes, and some nights he plays 28 minutes. That depends, but I think there's that range for him. RJ. RJ's been fascinating to kind of read all the stuff on Twitter and all the comments and everything. It's interesting to hear the different takes that people have. I think for him, Julius returning is actually probably a good thing of sorts. But I gotta say, we sucked when Julius was here. So people losing their minds because we lost those 2 games is a little bit quite not seeing the forest for the trees. So Julius returning isn't going to mean much if it's the same Julius who left us. If it's a Julius from last season, that's a whole different story. I don't see how he just snaps back into that the way that he had been playing, unless there was something else that was nagging him, or maybe having some time on the sidelines, quote, on the sidelines, kind of like what Kemba had, and he saw what was missing from the team, and he saw how he could contribute. But then again, look what happened. Came in, had a couple good games, and then his efficiencies and production and contribution to the team started nosediving, and then he's out. People are what they are. People reveal to you what they are in those first 20 games of the season. Now, can they grow from there? Yeah. But I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I'm not holding my breath that Julius is just suddenly going to snap back to being the player that he was last season. So in that respect, we're going to need RJ to keep trying for him. I have a better hope that RJ can return to the player that he was last season than Julius can return to the player he was last season. I don't even know if that was what you were asking me.
It'll lead into where I wanted to go. But Foxy, we'll hear your response on some of these young players and their performance and whether or not what they did in Julius' absence warranted a larger role on the team or more minutes.
I think George touched on a lot of great stuff that Grimes, especially on the defensive side, that's the way to earn your way into Tibbs' heart. Those 4 steals. One of the funny thing, I rewatched the game and Alec Burks had 5 steals, and I lost that in the thing. But so Grimes looked good. We know about Deuce not getting much burn until the fourth quarter. Pardon me. Played 4 minutes, pulled, and didn't come back in. And Obi, I thought, I wanted him maybe to have a little more opportunity to show his stuff tonight. We saw a first for 2 players. Grimes and Obi hit their first mid-range jumper of the season. So Obi had a real sweet one. He was 5 for 11 on mid-range. He was 0 for 1 for a pull-up 3 last year. But I'd love to see that part of his game if he can, and we talked about his foul shooting getting better. If he can get those mid-range and threes, just consistent, get up toward league average, I think that's great. I was hoping he played 45 minutes and change, had 6 rebounds, and that was hurt. And he should have had a hell of a lot more rebounds because Julius, if you want to replace Julius, you got to replace those numbers. And Julius, if he had 45 minutes, probably would have had 20 rebounds. So those are the things that you want. Grimes, again, watching, and some of the guys on the Piccolos and Fred Katz's had a gorgeous pocket pass with Obi. It was a nice little play between Obi and coming around a screen, Grimes. So I'm just trying to pick some things out, and I'm just hoping that Randle historically has had some really good games against Sabonis. I don't know if he gets up for him, so I hope maybe he comes back. As George said,
I don't think they're fond of each other.
No, I don't think so either. And I think as crazy as it sounds, because of the position they both play, sometimes they're both up for the same maybe league honors and things like that, whether all-star and who's going to be that power forward from the East. So hopefully he gets up. And as George said, hopefully we get the Julius from last year that'll be, eating in the mid-range, not settling for threes and being aggressive getting to the hole. And also we got hopefully IQ gets out of this. He was terrible as a point guard and a few other things. Ladies and gentlemen, my boy George has a thought.
Yeah, the just wanted to get in on this on the mid-range thing with Julius. I honestly, I've gone back and rewatched some tape and everything. He's just missing. It's not like anyone else is interfering with his game. The whole offense is still structured to help Julius do what he needs to do. In fact, that's what Fournier and Kemba were brought in to even add more floor spacing. And in actuality, they actually provided more floor spacing than before, than with Elfrid. And so it's the fact that he's regressed so much, Julius, is really that's troublesome. It makes me wonder that I'm more leaning towards the camp that it's possible that last season was just was an outlier for him. Can he get another season like that or come close in the future? Possibly, but we might be seeing Julius might be the guy that he was. The best we can hope for is getting somewhere in between what he was last year and what he is now, which is what, Jeremy Grant? You know what I mean? It's not all NBA. So we have some things that we need to have answered soon. And that's hopefully going to be that that Leon's gonna make some moves. That's what I'm hoping.
Yeah, fingers crossed. COVID is saying no to that though.
Yeah, COVID's
Only
messy.
people being
It's such a
moved
weird season, man.
or in smaller deals.
Well, I am sure you were both awed by at first. Wow, we got Denzel Valentine. Oh my God, this front office is really going to work. But
That was a money move.
It was a Brock Aller move. Yeah. So it's like,
I don't even know if it's added to our cap. I think it's just one of those cash consideration moves where it's just money to the owner's pocket.
Yeah.
So and
here's a 1.1 million pocket change play around. No, it was just a quick million.
He might spend that in a poker night. So the reason
I'll raise you too.
The reason I was discussing the younger guys and seeing if they were able to step up is because I think we all can agree that that the offense is not running correctly with it flowing through Julius. So my hope was for a player like a RJ to kind of step up and take some of that burden off Julius Randle when he returns. My whole point for those 2 games that we played without Julius Randle was to see what had in some of these players, see who could take that next step to just kind of get a better understanding of what players we have on the roster and who can legitimately be a number 2 to a Julius Randle until we're able to get a legitimate number 1. And I think none of the young guys really showed the ability to kind of alleviate some of Julius Randle's burden. Like even Deuce, we wanted Deuce to step in as the point guard, kind of run the offense and take some of the playmaking duties that we saw Kemba Walker excel with and just apply that with the starting lineup. That's another area that we kind of missed. And with Julius Randle coming back, in this 3rd game, I really didn't see enough from the young guys that can give me confidence moving forward that they can be major contributors to a winning ball club. And with that means we're going to have to rely more on some of the vets. And we've got guys returning. Mitchell Robinson. What do we consider Mitchell Robinson? Is he a vet at this point?
Oh, he's definitely not a rookie. So he's on the verge. So he's on the verge. In his head, I don't know what the hell he is. But, he's on the verge of being a vet. Absolutely. He's not here 1 or 2 years already. So now he's been around the league. You should know the speed, the strength, what you need to do, the positions where you have to be. He should be really understanding the game.
Yeah, but so when I say, relying on the vets, I was hoping that these young guys would show something that would give us a little bit more confidence that we can jettison players like a Evan Fournier or Kemba when he's healthy and try to restock, get some more assets. But with the way the guys are playing, if we want to legitimately go out there and win, we're going to have to rely on some of these veteran players for us to get there.
Do you think?
Or George, you disagree?
Well, I mean, I would like to have seen a little more of a sample size. It was such a weird 2 games. We don't have Mitch. We don't even have Nerlens. We had to go with Taj as the center. So that's not a real world type scenario. And the rest and the bench was pretty depleted. Also, the guys that we're looking at, right, like Deuce and Grimes, they had just come back from COVID protocols themselves. So it's another non-real world factor. I don't really think it's a big enough sample size. And really, when you look at that OKC game, OKC, they had their, all-star level type guy. We didn't. And we actually got good looks that game. We shot, under 20%. If we just hit 1 of 3, we might win that game. And we're not talking about guys who can't do that. I mean, Grimes has already shown he can hit the 3. RJ shown he can hit the 3. Even Fournier, Burks, everybody was cold, and we shot 8 for 41. So it was, and I think it was, and Deuce, he found out, what was it, like an hour before the game?
I thought it was actually minutes. I thought
maybe it was a minute. Maybe it was minutes. I think it was, yeah. So and I, maybe he overthought it, and I don't think it was a big enough sample size to make those kinds of really franchise impactful decisions. You know what I mean, Keith? I'm like,
Well, I didn't say go trade him. I just said we can't really trade the vets if we want to still be competitive to get to the.
Yeah, I know you were looking for more answers. Unfortunately, I don't think we have
and you got to remember who our coaches.
Yeah,
I wanted them to show something in those 2 games that would force Tibbs, kind of put him, his arm behind his back and force them to become major contributors in the rotation. But we just didn't get the opportunity to see enough. I was hoping that Randle was out, but I was just a little bit optimistic to see if we would get one more game for those guys to kind of prove themselves and get a little bit more
nice, right?
Mm-hmm.
One more game would have been nice.
Yeah, you want to hear a weird concept? That maybe for Deuce and stuff, it's easier when Randle's there because you come down and you kick it into Randle and everybody reacts off of that. When Randle's not there, they have what's the offense? We've been running at this offense for Julius for 2 years now.
Also, I just think to jump on that too. This whole thing that when Julius is there, they collapse on him, makes life easier for everybody else. I don't know. I saw a lot of open looks without Julius there, and also. Julius, he doesn't need to get doubled. He's very willing to just dribble into it. The Julius this season. In fact, we have actually seen the reverse defensive scheme against him. Don't double Julius out on the perimeter.
You don't have to.
Yeah, you don't have to. In fact, give him the 3.
Yep, let him take a 3. Otherwise, let him dribble into the traffic.
Yeah, I think it's a little hard for us. We're still stuck on the Julius from last season and what he did, and then when we hear all the announcers say, and then the stats and this and that. But what we're actually seeing with our eyes is nowhere near what the team was last season, and it's because Julius is not the lethal weapon that he was last season. If you didn't guard Julius last season, if you didn't body him and make it life difficult for him, he was going to score. He was going to get a bucket or find, RJ, not as much, but or find Reggie Bullock, and look off Elford in the corner, force up a shot. But he was going to, he was going to.
That's the only good decision making he made.
Yes. But this season, not at all. This season, you actually want the ball in Julius's hands if you're the defense.
It's deep.
That's a big shift. And I think that's what has effed this offense up. Because we're like, Julius commands a lot of attention. All right, we'll see. We'll see tonight. Maybe from Sabonis because they have a weird thing between them, but unless he's, within 10 feet of the basket, dribbling, he's not going to get doubled.
We'll see. I want to see how this team looks with Julius Randle put back into the starting lineup. Do we try to do anything new on offense? Because we didn't try any wrinkles, I think, without Julius Randle. I'm not really sure what type of offense we were running. I don't even know. They should have installed a system, especially with young guys out there on the court. Tom Thibodeau, we can just discuss him. I don't think he put those guys in the best position to succeed without Julius Randle. I didn't see any sets that I could point out and say, okay, this is what they're trying to run. This is what they're trying to achieve. I know playing basketball, you're trying to put the basketball in the hoop, but I really didn't know what the objective was. How were they going about trying to get that done? And I really couldn't tell you. There were pick and rolls here and there, but outside of that, didn't see much off-ball movement. So offensively, what do you guys think this team has to do in order to be more efficient out there on offense, get the assists back up, and start hitting and eclipsing 100 points more frequently?
Hitting the threes again. I think just hitting the threes again, everything turns around once you start hitting your shots.
I don't think we have any choice, right, Foxy?
Yeah,
that's the way that this whole team has been set up.
I know, man. But
other than a little bit, sorry to cut you off.
No.
Other than what we thought Fournier might give us, remember we thought Fournier he'd be more of a 3-level threat, and he actually, and we've seen it throughout his career, but we haven't seen it that much here. He just doesn't finish the way he should, and so yeah, we're stuck with 3-point dependent or whatever Julius can give us, and the whatever Mitch can give us in terms of clean up around the glass and the lob threat and stuff like that.
And we don't have too many options.
Yeah, but he's not going against a 6'8" Isaiah Stewart tonight. He's going against two
Won't get his money's
guys.
worth.
He's going against a team that's second in the league in blocks. But they're missing a lot of key guys. Oh my God, are they missing a lot of key guys? So besides Sabonis and Turner, I think everybody else that are dangerous are out. I think Brogdon's out, Levert's out, Duarte's out. TJ Warren's already out with the foot.
We better confirm that, because for some reason teams love to come back to play the Knicks.
I don't
Yeah.
and especially
Well,
somebody
now
who
we're
has
coming
no
back to play
name.
the Pacers.
Yeah.
What no name is going to light us up tonight? So
Whoever
hopefully
they
it's
just
not.
signed.
Yeah, Lance Stevenson, our luck.
There we go.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I mean, he's a New York guy. Maybe he has a game. You never know. I
Yeah.
mean, hopefully we don't
Yeah.
allow him to.
No.
That's the thing.
I want to say a quick hello to our family.
Yeah, I want to give a quick shout out to the
Yeah.
chat. Let's see. We've got Big Taz saying true. They have a statue of him over there. That's special. Not sure who's returned. Oh, Stefan? Oh, Steph Curry? King of China? I thought Kobe was King of China.
Marbury. They're talking about Marbury.
Oh.
I saw it in the chat earlier. They were talking about Marbury.
Starberry.
My guy
Yeah,
Starberry.
Starberry.
I'm not going to front. I had a pair of Starberries. The Knicks colorway too.
Oh, show
Oh,
off.
yeah.
Oh, those kicks would get your ass kicked in my neighborhood.
Listen to the chat.
Then give me-
Listen to the chat, man. Thanks
they-
for joining us.
They'd get mine kicked in my neighborhood too, but hey, I had to represent. I had to represent. Got my $15 pair, wore 'em to gym.
Oh.
Let's see. Salute to my guy Big Task saying, facts, guys, please hit that like button.
Yeah.
Very grateful. Said I think the whole team is fried. That's interesting.
Yeah. Shout out to our
Also
guy
says
Dripmore.
if Randle-
I'm sorry.
Salute Dripmore. No, feel free, do you? Very grateful is saying if Randle didn't get symptoms, he'll bounce back. Yeah, hopefully he'll be in the lineup and he'll be able to produce. Maybe, after the time off, he'll produce to that all NBA level.
Yeah.
He definitely needed a mental break, but I don't know if COVID really allows you to have that kind of mental break, especially him being a family man and things of that nature.
Yeah. And also I'm hoping that a couple days was good medicine for Mitch. His wrist was bothering him. He had a couple little things, maybe a couple days off, give him a little more bounce.
Yeah, the hope it
Mitch was
doesn't
starting to
negatively affect his
recapture.
He
conditioning.
was absolutely recapturing that
little
weight
bit of that.
loss. Yep.
Yeah.
But that's why I'm a little upset, because some guys you see they come back. It's a shorter break, but he was already having some conditioning issues. Now, you take him off the court. He's coming back as soon as he's been cleared. So hopefully he's able to contribute to the level that we know he's capable of when he's involved and when he's a monster on the boards.
Yeah, I don't know who on their team is going to be playing in the backcourt breaking us down. So, usually have to worry, like we said, about
guy
Brogdon.
Lance.
Huh?
I got Lance, the New York born.
Oh, yeah. Well, last time I saw him, it looked like he's hanging out with Zion, man. He's a big boy.
Well, we'll see. Got a little creation for him. He was able to create off the dribble a little bit. We got someone taking a little shot at Tibbs. He's saying Tibbs is a dinosaur. What do you expect? But he's got coaches on his staff to help him. You would hope he'd lean on them a little bit more. Canal says no one passes the ball to Mitch to get easy points. Yeah, they were even missing Obi last couple of games as well, especially in transition. How do you guys feel about this one?
What, passing to Mitch for easy points?
Yeah, do you think we use Mitch enough on offense when he's out there on the court?
He's just so limiting. So he doesn't have a little jump hook. He doesn't have anything. All he is a dribble handoff. The handoff. Basically, he sets a screen, hands off the ball. Turns his back. Usually, you think that you could just take a little pinch and pop spot, but no, he just turns his back and hands off. So I don't know. He's pretty much just putbacks and lobs. So that's where his offensive game is, and grazing foul shots, grazing the rim on foul shots. So I wish he had more of a game, but that's part of our concern. Like you're saying, is he a vet or not? If we're questioning that, and he's in the league this amount of years and still has no footwork for post, has no little shot, even Nerlens has a little shot, a little, I don't know what the hell it is either. It's a weird looking shot, but at least he has something. We don't see anything from Mitch. So, he pretty much he's an elite offensive rebounder, thank the Lord, and that leads to most of his offensive opportunities besides a couple of lobs a game.
Yeah, I think the only guy I've ever seen really consistently do it is RJ. You know, he'll look for him, he'll drive with the intention of trying to find Mitch, and then sometimes, a lot of times, the defense sees that, and that's why RJ gets kind of forced into a bad attempt, because the intention of his drive is actually to feed Mitch, and without the hops that Mitch had in the past, you know, it was hard to give him the aerial feed, because he wasn't up to being able to get up there. But he's starting to return to that. I think we do miss out on opportunities to dish him the ball at the last second instead of forcing a bad layup. Get it to him and let him try to do something with it, whether just dunk it, tip it. He's got a decent touch around the rim within that 1 foot, 2 foot radius. He has a, yeah, I know you laugh, but we have a lot of guys that don't.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm shocked by how much we miss down there, and he connects. So if you're telling me, hey, when someone's driving and they get doubled, what I'd like to see them get the ball to Mitch, absolutely. But you're right. I wish that he did have like a nice little 6-foot jumper. You know, if he had, if he could shoot from the elbow, that'd be fantastic. I mean, why he hasn't developed these things in 4 seasons? It's a great question. It's disappointing. I've seen him shoot. I've seen him do it with my own eyes. So maybe he's regressed from that even.
Yeah, but it comes back to the big guy whisperer, Kenny Payne. I thought he was going to be working with Mitch to bring in some elements of that.
Yeah,
and there's been none.
Develop some kind of post game.
Something. Anything.
All we hear is stories about Mitch, but we never really get to see it on the court, and it's frustrating because now we have to make a decision.
He doesn't even have a baby hook.
And you know what? Jericho Sims, I saw him in the G League with a baby hook, jump hook. And it's like, God, here's a kid. Actually, he's only 6 months younger because he came out as a senior, 6 months younger than Mitch. But at least he had some footwork for a jump hook, a little jump hook in there. Come on. And he has, like you said, he's even with the lack of bounce that he used to, he still is a 7-footer and in the right spot. It's a perfect shot for him. So, yeah, it's a shame, man. And it's a shame because it's also, he's playing for a contract. You'd think that that's something that he'd want to bring into his game. And also it's motivating. You want to be part of the offense, but you don't want, and for us too, you don't want a team saying we only have 4 guys to really watch. We don't have to worry about this guy.
Hey, Mitch could even just use the backboard.
Yeah,
for that 6-footer. Imagine with that 6-footer. And here's the other thing: if he starts hitting it at all, the guy who just fed him going to continue to the basket. Maybe he does a little give and go. He finds him, and we start developing some kind of a 2-man game. It's just hard with Mitch because he'll never be able to be the one that gives the ball back, or hit consistently enough from the mid range so that the defenses will really have to respect it. But the thing is, we haven't even tried it. I don't remember. What was it? 3 years ago? Last time Mitch took a mid-range shoot? Yeah. Well,
literally.
It's been forever.
I think it's one shot in the last 3 years.
Yeah, I can't recall. I must have missed that game.
Yeah. I think the first Fizdale year, yeah, there was a little tiny bit of it, but not much. Then the second season, when Fizdale started out, there was a little bit, when Randle came, and but not that much.
But it drives you crazy. Like, you look around the league, like second tier guys, you're like, Robin Lopez has this little hook shot. If Robin Lopez could have something, come on, Mitch. I think you're elite to him in athletically and other things. Come on, take it upon yourself. If RJ hired Drew Hanlon and other guys, go down to either Akeem or do something to work on footwork and do something. And it's about you investing in yourself. It can't be everybody else's fault.
Yeah, unfortunately, we've been saying that for 4 years and we haven't seen any results. I mean, I think well, what should we do with Mitch then? If we're saying all of this, it's been 4 years, we haven't seen any progress from Mitch offensively and defensively. I think for the most part he's been solid, but we really haven't seen any explosive growth to put him in a league of a Gobert. So what should we do with Mitch? With trade deadline approaching in February, he's not in a position where we can make him a restricted free agent. If we go past February and we don't make a move, we're going to lose him for nothing. So what should this team do? And we're going up against someone that's been rumored to be a trade target, and that's Miles Turner. So Foxy, I'll start with you. What do you think we should do with Mitch if he's not developing to our liking?
I think they should be.
They don't care what we think.
Yeah, I think they should be having talks. You know, the biggest thing, all of our concerns is that if he can play a significant amount of time from a durability, can he show us that he could be durable for at least some part without getting nicked up? So, but having some discussions, as you know, we talked about last Sunday. I think he's in the range of a McGee, Howard. I wouldn't pay him any more than that. We just touched on he has absolutely no offensive game. We didn't even get into it, but our eyes have seen that he has major issues handling guys on the perimeter. You come into his world and right by the paint, he's an intimidator, shot blocker, rim protector. He's outstanding. But if you have a stretch five, Mitch has issues. He hasn't shown that he has anything that he had as a rookie getting back and doing anything at the perimeter to stop anything. So I think he's in the $5 million range. Talk to his agent now. If not, try doing a sign and trade and use him as an asset, before the 10th. And like you said, so we don't lose him for nothing.
George, how do you feel about Mitch? You think it's a long-term answer? Or it's time to move on, or start looking to move on?
I think Mitch is the classic, undervalued asset. Because the team, it's Chris Dada put in the chat, Hakeem charges more than Mitch makes.
Chris Dada, I hope all is well.
Because I was actually going to make a joke kind of like that, that his was even better. So I read his, but we were talking about, hey, RJ does this, he hires these guys. Mitch is, he hasn't been making much money, when you consider, how much, taxes and everything, and then
six agents
and all that stuff. So, to plunk down, $200K to go down and spend 2 weeks with Hakeem, that's a lot for him. You know what I mean? So, but why isn't the team doing something?
James Dolan is giving people flights on his private jet.
Exactly.
We just said 1.1 million is what he spends at a poker table. He could pay for that.
Exactly. And why couldn't Patrick work with him a little bit? I mean, Patrick
or Kenny Payne.
Phenomenal. I'd rather have Patrick work with him than Kenny Payne. Patrick knows how to work that backboard. You know what I mean? For guys who don't have touch, the backboard is their best friend.
Yep.
And at least start with that, start gaining confidence. So anyway, that's an organizational, developmental, and of course, Mitch bears a lot of responsibility as well. But it doesn't mean that his defensive tools, and yes, his perimeter defending has been not what we had hoped yet. I'm hoping that as he gets more and more into better conditioning, and I think he's found a good weight about now, because you don't want to be too thin that you get pushed around by the Embiids, but you also can't be too heavy where you can't, handle the stretch five. So he has to find a weight in between. I think that he would actually be an excellent backup on a winning team. Because
or on our team.
or on our team. But definitely, on our team, it's a But let's say, if we were really a thriving winning team with a nice stretch five who is providing some nice offense and everything. But then when you really need that defensive presence in the middle, you bring in Mitch, and maybe you close the game with Mitch to a certain degree, but up to a certain point, because the foul shooting and everything. But he is a great deterrent. He really keeps players from playing their game 10 feet from the hoop and in. That's a tremendous asset.
No doubt.
Yeah, so it's about the price, it's about how much, and I think the market will figure it all out. I think we're probably, unless there's some, I know that Miles Turner has been talked about and all that stuff. I would love to see him with Miles Turner on this team. That's a great combination of players for that number 5 hole. So I don't know. How about you, Key? So what do you see Mitch's future? Like, and by future, I mean the next year to 3 years.
Next year to 3 years, I think the organization themselves is starting to sour on him. I still hold out hope in Mitch. I think Mitch has had issues defending out there on the perimeter, but like you said, the impact he's able to provide to this team defensively, it just neutralizes players at times because they start to freeze up whenever they get into the paint, knowing that they have Mitch there who could easily swat their shot. What I pointed out in the Raptors game, you saw it. The Toronto Raptors, I believe they had 42 points in the paint by the end of the third, or a minute left in the third quarter, and that's our season average. So it was a layup line out there for the Raptors without Mitch, and we saw that in both the games. So Mitch does have value. It's just in a league where you see more and more bigs starting to step out to the 3-point line and starting to make that shot, and you look at the fact that Mitch hasn't been able to defend bigs in that manner, you start to have to think, is this someone I should make a long-term investment? And then you look at players that are making around $10 to $12 million, like a Wendell Carter Jr. He has some games and some moments where he's inconsistent, but for the most part, he's giving you a solid 15 and 10 with a block and a steal here and there. So the fact that Mitch can't really average a double-double, I think, is a little bit concerning, especially when you see we're a team that he's a major piece there in the center for us. And you already mentioned Foxy. He's a great offensive rebounder. You just want to see him hit that double-double threshold. I think that's a nice number for my center to hit, as well as him being a solid rim protector. And you see that in the Miles Turner, but I just don't think Miles Turner is the piece that we should pursue. So I like Mitch. I would still continue to invest in Mitch, but come February, if he's not showing any kind of offensive progress, we got to move on from him.
Or like you said, you don't want him to walk without nothing.
He does average a double-double per 36. His whole career.
Per 36.
His career, he's 12.8 points.
Yeah, but he doesn't play 36.
but whose fault is that?
He's not playing 36.
Yeah, foul trouble.
Now it's him not being able to guard perimeter bigs.
Foul trouble was before.
So there's reasons he's not getting 36, because we have players on this team getting 36 minutes. Julius Randle's getting up there 36 minutes. I don't know if he's averaging that, but we've seen him play extended minutes like that. We've seen RJ get heavy workloads. But Mitch, you really never see that. And is he going to be able to be healthy enough to withstand 36 minutes regularly? You have all these questions when it comes to Mitch. Like, if he's going to come in under Wendell Carter Jr. at
the
10,
injury
12
thing is a big thing too. You're right.
Yeah, the foot with the Jones fracture.
Yeah. Hey, you know what?
I feel like I stay on this channel too much, so I didn't want to mention it.
if he can make it through this whole season without an injury, without a new injury or whatever, that would be nice. That would be nice. That'd make me feel more comfortable.
For him to make the whole season without. He already had a few. I mean, the rest of the season.
The rest of the season. The rest of the season.
When it comes to Mitch, there's one thing I always say: what would Inf say?
So
and if I trust, so what would Inf say? So I'm down whatever Inf says.
Definitely not a Mitch fan. Every time Mitch has a messed up game, he's like, "Hey, have you changed your opinion on him yet?" I'm like, "Nah, Inf. I still think he can hold it down. I think he can be the future center of the center of the future for this team." But
he's only missed 3 games other than the COVID game. He's only missed 3 games this season. So
I'm not saying he missed a lot of games. I'm just saying it's impossible for him to go the season without an injury. He already dealt with 1 or 2, not including COVID. Let's see. Want to give a shout out to We Survived 100 People. We'll get back to it, Jordan. The starting lineups came out.
Oh,
I'll give you your time. I thought. I just wanted to mention this real quick. Thank you. We surveyed 100 people, always holding us down with the starting lineups. Knicks starting 5, Alec Burks, Evan Fournier, RJ Barrett, Julius Randle, Taj Gibson. So no Deuce in the starting lineup.
Yeah, that's a shot across the bow.
Experiment.
Yeah.
And
that's why I said
I'm going to be perfectly frank with you guys. I think that's a mistake. That's a mistake, Thibs. I don't know, unless you're trying to pump up Burks' trade value. I don't see what the advantage here is.
I'd rather him take out Fournier and have Burks slide over and put in Deuce.
Yeah,
that's why I said this Ryan A signing might be some bad news for Deuce in terms of getting minutes this season. Not long term,
you know what?
But
it's bad news for Thibs. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm thinking. It's
he's already at step 4.
You know, I mean,
Hey, Annuity,
you wasn't expecting that?
25, Annuity, hope all is well. 19 Conman NYC, Nick Yak, Mr. Michael West, president of the Foxy Fan Club.
Here's my thing. What the hell do we learn by starting Burks? By starting Miles?
But we know Tibbs is not about development. He's about winning games. So when he looks at every game,
we're 17-20.
I know. So he wants to win 18. So in his mind, it's what lineup can I feel
we're
most?
17-19 with Julius. I mean 17-18 with Julius.
And this would have been the perfect time to leave Deuce in, because now you have Julius Randle in there to attract more attention. It should make life easier for Deuce. So why are you going to throw Burks in?
You guys, but
you're also said that. You also forgot one other person. IQ. So it has IQ soured in Tibbs' eyes also.
Quick too, yeah. But then again, we don't have evidence of Quick hasn't started at point guard this season. So at least with Deuce, there was evidence that he was an option at starting point guard. With Quick, it'd been something a little bit new.
Yep. Adele Chapman, yo.
It's mind-boggling to me. I mean, like, literally, we learned nothing from starting Burks. We already know what it means to start Burks.
Yeah, it doesn't work out well.
It means we're starting a guy who's not
but also he doesn't. It's not his groove at the point guard. He's much better. We've seen on second team, and that's where he lights it up all the time.
Yeah.
Anthony 212 says if they trade Quick, I'm going to the Nets. You're not gonna like my realistic rebuild that I'm about to upload. That
shockingly, Mitch has attempted 9 shots beyond 3 feet from the hoop this season. I don't know when he snuck them in, and he hit 7 of them.
Who?
Mitch.
Yeah,
has attempted 9 shots.
Must be 3.5 feet.
It might be, but he's 7 of 9, and.
Not cleaning the glass.
Yeah, I'm looking at Basketball Reference here.
I'm looking at cleaning the glass. He has 0 from the short range, 0 from long range. Everything's in the rim distance.
They scrub out garbage time, so maybe that's what happened. But it's still a shot. Last season, he attempted 16.
Mitch doesn't play in garbage minutes. He's usually on the bench too.
Yeah. So, that's, but, Basketball Reference, their actual attempts and everything, that's usually, they don't really make that kind of mistake. I haven't found that yet, but last season he was 5 of 16 from 3 to 10 feet. He's already attempted, he's on a higher clip this season.
Yeah. But as Keith said, 3 to 10 feet means 3 foot, 1 inch.
It could be. I was just shocked there was even that many. Yeah. In the bubble year,
I find it cool how they can keep those stats.
Yeah, in the bubble year, he attempted 26 shots from beyond 3 feet.
Yeah,
Mitch. Curious case, man. So much potential, but it's like, when are you gonna tap it?
I'll tell you this.
Pause.
Him starting first.
Yeah. Go on, Foxy.
Once in a while.
All right.
Michael Cambrea.
Oh, I apologize. We on the same.
No, I'm just saying hi. I'm not reading. I'm just saying hi. I always just want to say hi to my family, because the game we'll have to get off in a couple of minutes anyway. So I just didn't want Adele Chapman. I just wanted to say quick love to all the family. Wilson Dang, Lex the Destroyer, one of the great mods in the world, besides Big Task at Hand.
Yeah, Anthony 212 is saying he would agree with you guys. Move Burks to the 2 and put Evan on the bench.
Yo, that's what I'm talking,
been a major
Anthony.
disappointment this season, man. I knew he was going to be an issue defensively, but the fact that he's not even providing on offense, it's just like we burnt every penny we gave him so far this season.
So inconsistent. Like you said, he has these little bursts of, wow, look at that. He just put together like 6 straight points or 8 points. And then like 3 quarters go, but another 2 quarters go by. And like, that's the only thing he did so far in the game. He had that little burst and then nothing.
Yeah, he'll pick up steals here and there. I'll give him a shout out for that. But other than that, he's atrocious on defense.
Yeah.
I mean, you can say the same thing about RJ, not about being atrocious on defense, but he'll have a stretch of solid play, and then you really don't see much from him throughout the rest of the game. That's one thing I don't like about RJ as well. That sometimes you can realize you don't even notice he's out there for the most part. It's like, all right, impose your will, especially in a game where there's no Julius Randle. Yeah, in the first game he dropped 30 or whatever the case may be, but was it 30?
But that was against a G League environment. Yeah, there wasn't a rim protector on that team. Yeah, 26.
Exactly.
Yeah.
26. There we go. So against the Raptors, we saw he was completely taken out of sorts. You had defenders out there with length that made life a little bit difficult for him. So I just want to see RJ take the next step, man. You see other guys in his draft class flourish. I'm ready for him to take the next step. This should be the year for him to take that next step to becoming a legitimate number 2 next to Julius Randle.
Well said.
That's what we're waiting for.
Fingers crossed.
But it's hard. It's hard. I mean, he got 2 people were brought in above him, so now he got pushed down. The totem pole in offensive importance.
Yeah, but Kimba was out for 10 games, and we really didn't see any explosion. And I don't think
so was RJ.
Higher on RJ.
Yeah, but RJ had 5 big games, and if he kept that up, he could have this team would have been his.
Yeah.
If he
absolutely. If he had kept
he'd have a lot better record too. He'd probably be over 500.
Yeah, but he literally went 13 games 1 month of sucking. And like we said, I don't mind the guy having a slump. That everyone has a slump. 2 games, 4 games. You can't do 13 games, Joe. This is your 3rd year. This is not rookie or sophomore. You can't have that, RJ. And then on the defensive side, rewatching the game, whether the play on Van Vliet, OG eating him up early in the game, he looked terrible on so many possessions. And I'll tell you also, with Julius coming back, watching the game again, and I'm not picking on Obi, just when you watch a game, stop it, rewind it. His technique was terrible on box out. He missed so many rotation assignments on defense. Obi, he's not ready. I want him to get more practice, but he's not ready, man. He's not ready to be a Julius.
Yeah, I know, but I would like to have seen him get more.
Me too. I want him to get more burn, but Jesus, when you watch him on defense, you're like, yo, no wonder, he's not a twinkle in Tibbs' eye. He makes hell of a lot of mistakes.
I'd rather have Obi's mistakes on defense than Randle's whatever he's
mistakes
been doing.
On offense.
No, in defense. Randle has not been a good defender this season.
I don't know if he's making mistakes. It's more effort when it comes to defense.
That's what I meant. Not really mistakes. Like just effort. Whatever he was, he's
Yeah.
He felt like he's checked out. And we're not even at the halfway mark. It seems like he's checked out.
Yeah. And I don't know. Just to go back to the baby being a new father or whatever. Like I know we've talked about it before, but I remember when I was became a father, like it was hard. It was hard, especially that first 12 months. It's a lot of work, even though he's done it. He's been through it before,
and has 33 nannies.
yeah, right. Yeah. But he seems like easier for him. He seems like he's like a participant, father. Like he tries. I mean, he has like great relationship with his son, and maybe all these factors kind of swirling in his head. And if his energy level's down just this much, it's just enough to make his game just drop that much more and his desire.
Yeah.
It feels like a desire thing.
We only got a couple of minutes to the game, so just folks, I have a favor to ask. Do me a favor. We have about 100 people in the chat. We have about 51 likes, so if you can, please hit that like button.
Yes,
Do me a favor. Also, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, and also please hit that all reminder bell so you don't miss out on any of the great content. And while you're at it, please make sure you subscribe to Into the Knicks Verse, and all at the same time, make sure you hit the all reminder bell for the Into the Knick Verse also, so you get 2 of the great shows on the Knick fandom.
Facts.
And also,
if you
again,
want
shout
a
out.
quick link. Yep. And if you want a quick link to George's channel, it's in the description.
Yep. And a shout out to the greatest mods in the planet. We appreciate all you do.
Salute you guys. Lex Destroyer, Canal. Appreciate your guys' support throughout the show. And on the screen, guys, I got the head-to-head stats. These are these are the 3 games we've played against the Pacers. These are our stats for them. We're 1-2 against them. 17-20 for the season.
I feel like we play them weekly.
14-23.
Yeah.
It seems like it, right?
Yo.
It's like we keep talking about Sabonis. As you can see, I didn't know our 3-point shooting was so terrible against the Pacers. We shot 28.4% from 3 in those 3 games against them. Yeesh.
That's wild.
But like you said, so much is open shots that we're missing.
Record than them.
It's not like it was great defense. We're missing open shots.
Yeah, we're missing open shots.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and that's the frustrating part. Also, you can see points per game. Of course, they're winning 2-1, so they have higher points per game. Assists per game, still down in the 20s. Can't really, find teams where we can get high assists.
7 assists per game. Well, when you're not hitting your threes, which is the majority of our offense, you're not going to have high assists. But
we're going to struggle.
It still shows that we lack creativity. And the other thing, we
lack offense.
The thing we lack the most,
creativity.
We are not a winning team at all in the past 2 seasons without Derrick Rose. So that's the other thing we haven't even talked about is his tremendous absence and his impact that he has on the team and all the players. I think just the confidence level, his ability his decision making, all of those things are desperately missed by this team. He really impacts winning more than any other player other than Julius when he's going right. But even when Julius is not going right, we still, need a Derrick Rose.
We have a super chat, Keith.
Oh yeah.
I wanted to make sure before.
Salute to Fife for the $5 super chat. He's saying, "What addition would you like to see on this roster?"
Addition or subtraction?
Maybe addition by subtraction.
That's my guy. Depending on who you ask.
Come on, Foxy. You know who you want on this team. He's down in San Antonio.
DeJounte.
Oh, Murray.
Yeah, everybody talks about De'Aaron Fox. I take DeJounte. I love where you start with defense, sets guys up. He's another he's not as good as a shooter, but he's like a Halliburton, man.
He sets guys up almost as well as I set you up on that.
Yeah. But you're boom. Where's that broadcaster when you need it?
I only have the applause. George, who would you bring?
Who would I bring? I like SGA. I like his size. I like he has that killer mentality. I really like that guy. Is he the greatest defender? No, but can he become a better defender? I mean, he has tremendous size, so I like him. I like his game. I think it'd be interesting to see him on this Knicks team. Yeah. But there's several guys.
I like Shy as well, especially after he killed us. Man,
he killed us.
I remember I texted you, I said, we're not going to win this game unless we shut this guy down or at least slow him down.
Yeah.
He was getting anything at will.
But he does that to everybody. He does that to every team in the NBA. And remember, he's playing with that squad in Oklahoma. And he's still able to contribute. He doesn't make excuses to provide his production. He makes it happen. I like him. I like him a lot.
A quick shout out to Bodega Wi-Fi, my good friend. Hope all is well with you and the family. Shout out again to Michael West. He said, "Foxy, let's trade Tibbs for Mark Jackson." Hey, I like Mark Jackson, but Mark Jackson will never be a coach in this league again. He's a man of faith, and unfortunately, he made some comments that were perceived as homophobic.
Yeah.
And that will, in in our culture, I don't think he'll ever be a coach again.
Yeah.
So it's the reality of the world.
There was a moment of silence after that.
Yeah.
For Mark,
right? I was like,
for Mark Jackson's coaching career.
And I love Mark
man.
Jackson, man. So
Yeah. Me too, man. I was there when he was drafted. The day he was drafted.
Yeah.
I was ecstatic. Yeah.
But you know what? For a guy like Deuce or something, who's a better mentor than a point guard like a Jackson to a kid like that?
Yeah, it'd be awesome. How about you? Keith? Who would you like to see?
I piggybacked off you with Shy. SGA.
Yeah. I'm also like his age. You know, there's lots of guys that are older. You know, but I also want to keep someone young. He fits.
Mm-hmm.
Julius is still pretty young. You know, and RJ's still really young. I mean, I think he would be the kind of guy that would make both RJ and Julius the best versions of themselves.
Yeah, but you don't get SGA without giving up RJ. That's the thing.
Hey,
word.
That wasn't the question, though.
I'm not here to be realistic. I'm here to give you an answer.
Yeah,
So it's 7:34, fellas. The game's gonna be starting.
Oh yeah.
All right, we'll wrap it up there. Thank you guys for tuning in for another Knicks Syndicate pregame show. Foxy, want to say thank you for co-hosting. George, thank you for co-hosting as well. And as always, SV Nation, you are the fourth host for the pregame shows. Third host when it comes to the Sunday shows.
Word.
So thank you guys for tuning in. Anybody want to say anything before we close out?
Just love you, SV Nation.
Yeah, same.
Okay.
Thank you guys for joining us. It's always awesome. Great comments in the chat. Some funny stuff, some insightful stuff. Keeping it lively. Salute, Michael West, Rick Pennington. Salute. Very grateful.
We also
people.
Follow Fox on Twitter at Fox Sports Talk. And if you want to follow George on Twitter, it's at Into the Knicks Verse. And if you want to follow Sports Vibes TV on Twitter as well, it's at Sports Vibes TV. So SV Nation, thank you guys again for tuning in to another show. We appreciate all the support. And till next time, it's going to be on George's channel next, right?
Yes. Thursday. Yes.
Against
Thursday,
Celtics.
And then we got another game.
It's against
Saturday.
the Celtics. That'll be a good game.
Whoa, that quick little finger. Yo, the quickest win.
My bad. But all right. Thank you guys for tuning in. Oh, yeah? All right. We're going to go enjoy the game. I hope you guys do too. Thank you guys again for everything.
Be a nice. Let's get this win, man. Be nice.
Facts.
The series against the Pacers.
Facts.
I think we can do it.
We're off.
We can do it.
All right. Have a nice day. Enjoy the game.